Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are here to talk about the new Charlotte Tilbury concealer and setting powder. So if that's something you guys are interested in watching, then you are in the right place. We are about to get into it.
I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf.
All right, guys, so Charlotte Tilbury. For those of you that don't know, this woman is epic in the makeup industry. Now, she was actually raised in Ibiza, Spain, which is very kind of bohemian. It's very much full of artists and painters and actors and musicians, and it's this very eclectic place. Charlotte's father was a painter. Her mother was a luxury production manager. So she knew quite from an early age, I think everything that I've read has said around like the age of 13 that she wanted to do something very creative. She met the makeup artist by the name of Mary Greenwell. She was very inspired by her. She went to the Glauco Rossi School of Makeup in London, and she graduated from the school with the intent of becoming a makeup artist. In the 1990s, which was the era of like the supermodel, that is really when Charlotte's career kind of took off, and that was what she describes as like the most formative years as a makeup artist, when it was really all about glam and the hair and photography, and a makeup artist was incredibly important in that era. It was something that was it just boomed. It became very popular, similar to like the influencer boom that you saw on YouTube that most of us kind of witnessed in our lifetime. That was very similar to like that supermodel boom that happened in the 90s. And as a makeup artist that was pretty well networked and established, she really got caught up in that boom and was able to network and meet some pretty famous people that she still deals with today. Charlotte has always been the kind of makeup artist that really believes in the beauty and power and sexiness of everything that is woman, and she thinks that makeup is great as a tool to help you as far as boosting confidence, and always comes from a place of wanting a woman to feel and look as beautiful on the outside as on the inside. So her famous quotes, or one of her famous quotes, is "Give a woman the right makeup and she can conquer the world," and that kind of embraces everything about who Charlotte is. Now, when it came to her own makeup line, she was incredibly picky. You're talking about a person that has years and years of experience working with product, knowing what worked and what didn't, and knowing when she was in a one-on-one with a client, the things that she wished that she had, or the things that she wished would just do certain things maybe a little bit better. So she had all of that knowledge and decided to put it in a makeup line, and I think that's why a lot of Charlotte's products really resonate with kind of the everyday beauty out there, because they're very practical. They come from a place of expertise and knowledge, and she really builds products that function very, very well. And her lab is funny, because her lab is actually on record as saying things like, "We build a formula, we give it to Charlotte to try out, and she comes back into the lab and is like, this doesn't do what I want it to do, this is what I want it to do, and this is not that." And she's very kind of combative with her lab, and there's like this love-hate relationship that goes on, because when it comes to her products, she does tend to be a self-admitted perfectionist. Now, before Charlotte became kind of Insta famous with her own makeup line and really kind of launched into the product world, she was like the creative director for businesses such as Tom Ford. So when you look at Tom Ford products, a lot of times you'll see a lot of similarities there. In formula, you'll see a lot of similarities in brush type on some of her brushes. So it's definitely like a Charlotte theme. You can kind of look at a product if you're very familiar with her and her work and her style. Her style is very distinct, so you can look at different Tom Ford products and you could tell what products Charlotte touched, because there is a very distinct style there. So of course it was great, and the makeup world rejoiced when we all saw that she was actually going to do her own makeup line that was nothing but embodiment of that kind of signature style. And she started with her Magic Cream, which was really the most important product that she wanted to get out there, and that is like a moisturizing base for makeup. And for those of you that have never tried the Magic Cream, I recommend that you do. It is amazing. It smells great, and the ingredients are superb, and it really is a fantastic moisturizer. And that's one thing I can say about Charlotte, is that her ingredient list when it comes to her products are spot on, and she never compromises. So once the brand was launched, then that was it. She just flourished from there. She literally has won over, I think it's like 111 awards for just the brand alone, including like a CEW Best British Brand, Walpole Best Luxury Brand in Britain as well. In 2015, she got CEW Best Brand Out There of the Year. She's gotten the CEW Best Women's Luxury Brand for lips. She's gotten the Best Brand for eyes. She's gotten over 100 awards just for the brand alone. So, needless to say, when Charlotte announced that she was coming out with a concealer that was going to kind of line up with her Magic line of products in her brand, everybody kind of flipped out a little bit. So, she has a foundation called the Magic Foundation. So, this is like a concealer that's like the Magic Concealer, and then you have the Magic Genius Powder. So, this is all kind of cohesive in that line. Now, she also has a retoucher that is also another type of concealer in the line. She also has like a 2-in-1 type of under eye brightening. She has a lot of other products out there, but this one was specific to this Magic line, and everybody got really excited, including myself. So this is it. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away Liquid Concealer. Now this comes in 16 shades, and I'll give you guys a close-up of the component here. Now the component itself is really pretty. It's a twisty top, and you see her name on one side, and then on the back you actually have a see-through window that shows you the product itself. It has a twisty bottom where you actually twist it and you can crank the product up through a sponge on the top. And I really love the sponge because it has this pointed tip applicator, which allows you to get really, really precise when it comes to utilizing the concealer itself. It is a beautiful component, as most of her components are. I think most of her components are just stunning. Of course, this is in the shade 6, which I believe is just called medium, and there again are 16 shades. Now I would say the first 5 are variations of fair, so I think if you are a very fair girl, you're going to love the fact that you probably have a good option in this line. And then like the next 5 are right in that medium to tan range, and then the last I would say the last 6, I guess, is what's left, are all different variations of kind of that deep dark range. So I think the range itself is very well divided, and I think everybody's going to be able to find something with this particular product. So what is it about this concealer that makes it a magic concealer? Well, let's talk about the claims. So number one, this has an ingredient called Persian silk tree bark extract. And the reason that this particular extract was put into the formula is because of the effect that it has on the pigment. They claim that this is going to give you the illusion of a lifted upper lid. So if you use the concealer on the upper lid of the eye, that it's going to make the upper lid appear more lifted, that it's also going to give the illusion of smoother skin when it comes to crow's feet, and then it's also going to be able to diminish dark circles as well. Number two, this also includes palmitoyl glycine, which is actually known as the bliss molecule, and basically it just comes down to helping to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. It also has wild indigo extract, which is used in a lot of other luxury products out there. For those of you that don't know, Tatcha has an indigo, like a purple face mask, and it's beautiful. And the reason is because wild indigo extract is an amazing ingredient when it comes to luminosity on the skin, which is the reason why it's included in this formula. Of course, they also say that the precision sponge on this particular product is a bonus as well, because it's supposed to hug the under eye contours of the face. In addition to that, they also want you to kind of roll that sponge over like blemishes that you have on the face. Now, I personally didn't get this concealer in my skin tone because I wanted to use it as a concealer and not as a blemish cover on my face. So I did get it a shade lighter than my actual skin tone, which is a note to self. If you want to cover blemishes, make sure you're working with a concealer that is your exact skin tone. So don't use a concealer that you use underneath your eyes that is a shade or two lighter than your skin tone to cover blemishes on the face, because all that's going to do is lighten those blemishes and pull everyone's focus to them. So you always want to make sure that when you're working on blemishes on the face or hiding imperfections on the face, that you're working in a medium that is exactly your skin tone and matches your foundation. Alright guys, so let's take a look at application here so that you guys can see what it looks like when you wear this product and when you're applying it to the under eye area. Now, keep in mind, guys, going into this application that I already had my color corrector underneath my eyes. I do use a very light peach color corrector because I have fairly severe dark circles in the under eye area. So I already had the corrector on, and then I just went ahead and put the concealer on. And on one side of my face, I used a blending brush to blend the concealer out. And on the other side of my face, I actually used a sponge to kind of blend the concealer out. And I think I liked both of these styles. I think both ways worked just fine. And I really liked the coverage, and I do like the feel of this particular concealer. One thing that I have noticed about this concealer is that it's not overly drying underneath the eyes, which is a huge problem that I have with a lot of concealers, is that they feel very drying underneath the eyes. And this doesn't feel very drying. However, it does have quite a significant amount of pigment. I will say with this particular concealer, less is more. I did learn over the course of the next couple of days as I was using the concealer that I didn't really need to put all of that underneath the eye, that I simply could just do a dot, and a dot, and then just blend back and forth, and it was beautiful. And for me, the less product that I use underneath the eyes, the better, because I have a lot of texture underneath my eyes when it comes to fine lines and wrinkles. So I like this product a lot because, number one, I don't have to use a lot of it to get a nice, flawless look, and number two, it does look beautiful. One thing I did notice is when I used it to blank out the top of my lid, that product lays very well on it, so it does work very nicely with as a base for your eyeshadow, and I absolutely love using it for that purpose. Overall, the concealer concealer wears really, really good. It is very crease resistant for me because I have a lot of texture underneath the eye. I still had to set the product in order to keep it from creasing, but it's not one of those like immediate creasers, you know, and it didn't crease once it was set over, you know, the course of wear for the day. It stayed fine. Overall, it's a beautiful product. It reminds me very much of, as far as the texture and the way that it wears on the skin, it reminds me a lot of the Maybelline Age Rewind. And it's not just because of the sponge. It's because of the consistency of the concealer and the way that it wears, that it has all of that pigment underneath there and it still looks beautiful and doesn't dry the under eye area. So it does remind me a lot of the Age Rewind, except it's just better. You just can tell there's more luxury ingredients involved. It goes on the skin a little smoother. It blends out like a dream. It just blends out so easily. It just sits beautiful on the skin. It is truly a gorgeous product. Now, I do have one bone to pick with Charlotte Tilbury, and that is the cost versus the amount. Now, this concealer retails for $32. Now, in and of itself, we've all paid somewhere between $25 and $30 for a good high-end concealer. The price point itself doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the amount of product that you get in this particular component. Now, if you compare this component to other concealers out there on the market, I think you're going to be surprised at what you find. So the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away Concealer is 4 mils of product, or 0.13 ounces of product. Now, how does that stack up to other concealers on the market? So let's look at a standard one, which is the NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer. Now, this is 6 mils of product and 0.22 ounces of product, and it's in a standard type component. So I thought, all right, well, let's go a little smaller and see if I can find something a little closer to the amount that's in the Magic Away. So I looked at my little Cover FX concealer tube. This actually has 10 mils of product at 0.33 ounces. The MAC Studio Fix is 9 mils at 0.30 ounces. Maybelline Age Rewind, 6 mils, 0.20 fluid ounces. So I said, okay, let's find something ridiculously tiny. And I looked at the KKW concealer, which is this teeny tiny tube that has a really teeny tiny tube inside of it. This is still 4.2 grams of product at 0.16 ounces. Again, the Magic Tilbury, 0.13. So this literally is the smallest amount of product out of all of the concealers that I have. I couldn't find a product that only had this little amount in it, with the exception of one product, and that is the Dualist Concealer by Wander Beauty, where they have a liquid on one end and then they have a matte on the other end. Now, because this is a 2-in-1, you actually have 2 products, so this doesn't really count. But if you want a visual on how much product is actually in this tube, this is a good visual for you, because this has exactly 0.13 ounces in it, or 4 mils of product. So this is the amount of product that you're getting for $32 from Charlotte Tilbury, and that was a disappointment for me, unfortunately. Now, it is a good product, and again, I will say that over the course of the couple of days that I was playing with and getting to know this particular product, I did find out pretty quickly that less is more with this product. So you really don't have to use as much, but I don't think that justifies including such a minuscule amount of product to your customers. And it is really kind of deceiving, because when you first get this product, it's completely full here on the window, so it looks like it's just this full tube of product. But as you start twisting it to try and get the product to show up on the sponge, when you actually get the product to come through on the sponge, this little dial has already gone up half of the canister by the time the product actually makes an appearance at the top of the sponge. So it doesn't hold that much product for $32, and that was disappointing. But overall, at the end of the day, guys, from a product perspective, it is a beautiful product with beautiful ingredients. I will absolutely, Erica, approve it because it performs very, very well. It's unlike anything out there on the market. I really tried hard to compare and contrast with other formulas, and the Maybelline Magic Eraser was the closest that I could get to it, and even that doesn't do it justice from a comparison point of view. So I wanted to actually do like a comparison with you guys up against other ones that were very similar, and it's very unique from a formula perspective. There's just nothing out there quite like it. So I do enjoy that. I love new formulas and new products and new technologies, and I do think it's a beautiful product. So it's Erica approved. I recommend that you guys try it if you can. I know Sephora just recently started carrying Charlotte Tilbury products, and I believe they are only carrying them online for right now, but I don't think that the Magic Away concealer has made it to the Sephora site just yet. Right now, you can go to charlottetilbury.com, or you can go to Beautylish or Nordstrom's, anywhere that Charlotte Tilbury is sold. Next, let's talk about something that I am very excited about, and that is the Charlotte Tilbury Genius Magic Away Powder. And you guys, wait till you hear about this product. One thing I love about this powder, you guys, is the opacity that comes with this powder. So in other words, it's not necessarily pigment, and I don't know how to describe it other than that it gives you this kind of brightening effect that is just very opaque on the skin. It really is pretty, and I'm going to show you guys application, but before we get to that, let's look at the component itself. Now, of course, it's in that beautiful type Charlotte Tilbury kind of component with like the brown and the rose gold accent, and then of course on the inside you have this nice little twisty thing that you can control the amount that you want to come out. You can keep it closed so it doesn't fly around everywhere. So overall, it is a beautiful component. Now, this does have a biocompatible, very silky mica in the formula itself. Now, the mica is actually treated with amino acids that give you this very soft, very silky feeling to the skin, and it also gives you this beautiful, very opaque, natural brightening effect. This is a talc-free powder. Can we all say hallelujah? This is formulated with 99% raw, natural, talc-free ingredients. So from a powder perspective, guys, this is as good as it gets. Now, this does have a spherical type of silica in it, which is going to help absorb sebum on the face, and it's also going to help when it comes to light refraction and giving you kind of that reflective, illuminated type of effect on the skin as well. It also has tsubaki oil in it, which in Japanese tradition is just an oil that's used to really soften the skin. So it has that in it as well, and that really keeps it from giving you that dry kind of itchy feeling that you get when you put on a powder that's very drying on the skin. It really offsets that feeling, so it just feels like a very nice, luxurious powder when you put it on. And guess what else they've put in it, you guys? Squalene. That's right, there is squalene in this powder. I was so excited. In a powder form, in this particular product, all it's going to do is give you more of a protective barrier on the skin to keep your skin kind of protected from the elements out there, and that in and of itself makes it worth its weight in gold to me. I'm so excited about this ingredients list, I could die. Now, the one thing I really like about this is that it is kind of a brightening type of powder, but it still mattifies the skin. So it's like the best of both worlds in a powder. Now, this powder is going to be great for setting the T-zone. It's also going to be really good for setting the under eye area. Now, I'm going to show you guys application here where you can kind of see application to the under eye area. When it comes to application under the eyes, I did it in two different ways. I just kind of stamped it underneath there and let it sit for a few minutes. And then, of course, I did just a light dusting underneath the eye just to basically set the under eye area. So I tried it two different ways. I've also baked with this. I've I've basically done everything you can imagine with this particular powder. I absolutely love this powder. It has made it to my favorites list by far. Now this is actually shade number 2. It comes in 3 shades. One is like a very light translucent shade. Number 2 is more of a yellow type base translucent shade. And then of course you have number 3, which has a little bit of pigment in it, and it's a little bit darker, so that I basically think that they made it so that a woman of color could use it, or somebody that has really that deep dark skin can use it, and you end up without that ashy gray tone or that white cast on your skin. She put enough pigment in it just to offset that effect, so I love that, and I think that's amazing. So you have all 3 of those different shades to choose from when it comes to this particular powder, which I think is genius. So I do think it does really good when it comes to setting the under eye area. It helps to brighten that area a lot, and it really helps when it comes to creasing. It works well with other foundations, including other concealers, obviously including her concealer, but other products as well. It's a very good play with others powder. There are certain powders out there that just don't play nice with others. This one does. This one you can work into your routine, and you don't have to worry about it causing friction with other products that you put on your face, which with the different oils and squalene and the spooky oil that's in here, it did kind of give me pause for a minute, because I was afraid that sometimes when you have an ingredient list that looks like that on a powder, sometimes it won't play well with other foundations on the market, and maybe this one was just formulated to work specifically with her magic foundation and her magic concealer, but that's not the case. It actually plays very nice with others. I have found that you can use it in a more dense way where you want brightening effects on the face, but it also is beautiful, you guys, when it comes to just controlling oil and not just packing it all over the face. If you have a big powder brush, like just a big puffy powder brush, this is beautiful to just dip your powder brush in and just roll it like this across your T-zone, anywhere that you want to control oil throughout the course of the day. Just roll it like this back and forward anywhere in your T-zone. It gives the most beautiful effect on the skin, and it will help control oil throughout the course of the day beautifully. I really think you guys are gonna love this powder. I honestly was more blown away by this powder than I was the concealer. While I love the concealer, and I think the concealer is amazing, this is genuinely a very innovative, next level, amazing beauty invention of the gods powder. I really am impressed with this. Not only is it talc free, but it includes ingredients in it that are genuinely good for our skin. And as a consumer, this is about as good as it gets when it comes to a face powder. Now this is $45, and when it comes to the amount that you get in here, I'm actually very okay with it, because there is 13 grams of powder in here. Just for some comparison, the Lancome Absolute powder, this has 10 grams of powder in it, and the new Hourglass powder that came out, this actually has 10.5 grams of powder in it. So the Magic powder actually has 13 grams of powder in here, so I'm actually very happy with the amount that's in here versus the cost. And from an ingredients perspective, you guys, this is so worth it. So this is absolutely Erica approved. Alright guys, as always, make sure that you put in the comments below if you guys have tried these products already. If you intend on trying them, let me know what your feedback is. I would love to get a discussion going on in the comments down below, so make sure that you guys let me know what you guys think about these products. I really, really am excited about these products, you guys. I really do think they're amazing products. Congratulations, Charlotte, you knocked it out of the park with these. Thanks for stopping by and spending time with me today. If you're new here, welcome. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button on your way out, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a video. As always, I hope you guys are very happy and very healthy, and I will see you guys in the next video.